I was just dabbing on some El Muerte shatter that I picked up a while ago, and we'll just it's fucking it sucks live fucking staying in hotels and shit like that. You're like, gotta go hide in the bathroom. It makes you feel like back in high school where you're fucking trying to smoke weed in the house without mom and dad knowing and shit like blowing it out the basement window. Every once in a while, you'd like think you're all gangster, maybe put like dryer sheets in like a toilet paper roll or something. Why mask the smell, stupid shit like that. Why
Right.
is so juvenile? Just fucking
Get,
going in there and hiding.
getting out the bottle of baby powder.
I don't recall ever doing that one, but I remember I remember for Christmas in like my stocking or whatever, I used to get like you used to get like those 4 packs of like cheap sample colognes or whatever. You used
Yeah.
to get like the Dracar Noir and a few others in there, and I used to like just run around my parents' basement, fucking sprinkling that shit everywhere, thinking it would mask the smell of weed. Probably didn't. They probably the like the perfumey headache that they would get was probably, oh yeah, a little bastard smoking up down there again.
Hey, I used to swear that my parents couldn't smell it. You know what I mean? Oh, don't worry. But my parents, I'm sure they did, and they were laid back. But that's like my kids. The first few times, for the first 3 weeks when we found out they were smoking, my wife was screaming and yelling at me all the time about smoking weed in the house, and I'm like, man, I ain't been smoking in here. So one day she came home, and I had just gotten home 5 minutes before, and it reeked when I walked through the door, and I knew it was coming. So I said, "Here, come on, walk with me up these steps." As she's going up, stronger, stronger. I said, "See, you've been yelling at me. No more yelling."
And he's fucking gone. That was a good story till he cut himself off. Johnny, come on back to us.
I did. My boss called in, and I thought I hit ignore, but I accepted it, I guess. So I shut it off. But I'm here. But let's get down to. You better quit calling me. But yeah, let's jump into this. I mean, I got a lot I want to say and get off my chest and just speak on. You
Let's
know,
do it, brother.
because you all know, everybody from the booth crew knows how I am. I've always been one of them where I like to have my story out there. You know how many DMs and stuff where I get from people saying, thanks, man, you helped me so much, and that's why I do it. I just want people to know, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. We're all here. We've all done it. And I just want to say, having a great support system is awesome. The Caribou crew we're a family, and I like that, and I enjoy that, and I've grown a lot. I like to think in the 3 years since I've met y'all, I've personally, mentally, and just every which way went to a positive, more positive. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm a better person. Yeah, the last year has been real rough. Today's mama's a year since she passed away. And I got a little crazy there for a while, and I'm sure I've offended some people and said some stuff I regret, and I'm sincerely apologizing to anybody I have. I mean, just going through life, just going through shit, and just needing somebody to hear me, to be there, to feel loved, and if I offended anybody or bothered, I sincerely apologize. And and that's part about the growth. To me, it's about personal growth. And the day Mama passed away, she had a mushroom shirt on. And I gave her that hug, and I stood back, and I seen that mushroom shirt on. I came home. I didn't even know I had shrooms. I found a fucking quarter just magically. I don't know where it came from, but I found it, and I'm thinking, man, I'm so hurt. What can I do? I ate the quarter. Needless to say, we went back out to my mom's after to be with the family, and everybody there told me we've never seen you this calm. They thought I'd be in jail when this happened with Mama finally. I mean, I'm just, and, and I just sat there and I started thinking that night about it. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm this calm, and so needless to say, after that day, and feeling that calmness and kind of like a spiritual awakening for the last 4 years, or last year, 4 to 5 days out of the week, I've been, most people, it's not a microdose, but to me it is. I eat about a gram to 1.5 every 4 to 5, 4 to 5 days out of the week. And I've noticed it helps me focus. It helps me pay attention to stuff. It helps me listen to my subconsciousness, that when I was in my depression and everything, I'm just blocking down. And now I let stuff in. I realize I see stuff, and I'm not scared to call out on it, when I see it, or I feel I'm being taken advantage of or something. You know what I mean? I'm just, a lot of the people in the chat don't know what's going on, but a lot of you guys that's in our crew knows what's going on. And I really don't want to put too much out there about that, but I'm striving to be a better person every day. That's why, everybody, even on IG, everywhere that they see me, I start my day out. It's not for you all when I say, well, it is. When I say good morning, hope you all have a blessed, productive, positive day. I say that every morning to remind myself. By saying it to you guys, it's reminding myself to have that kind of day. And I have noticed since I've started doing that every morning, that's the first words out of my mouth or out of my head. My days start off great, and it just depends. We all have bad days, but I just try to distance myself from negativity and what comes in from that. And life is so much better. I'll be turning 50 at the Booth Fest this year, and I'm 50. I got another 50 in me. Let's make this 50 fun. Enjoy life. You're not supposed to be getting beat up all your life. You're not supposed. I paid my dues. It's time to just sit back and enjoy life. And there's no. I am so excited about it because I've learned to grow. I've gotten a passion for it. All my friends have a passion for it, and I was telling the therapist I had to talk to a couple hours ago. I was telling him, I said, since I started growing, it's therapeutic. And he's like, yeah, I'd really like to discuss that with you, but I can't. You know what I mean? So it made sense. But to me, growing is therapeutic, and gives me a lot of what I was looking for in life. You know what I mean? I them plants are like my babies, like my kids, like all of us are. We all them are. Sometimes they get treated better than my kid. You know what I mean? But not on purpose. But they do, and that's just the passion I have for it, and that's the passion I'll have for it. And I just love how our whole crew pushes each other. We strive to see each other do better, do better, do better. And as a whole, when our motley crew first got together, we've come a long way, all of us. And it really makes me proud to be able to say that, because all my life I've had negative, dark spot place, terrible places that most people wouldn't make it through. And now to be doing something positive and seeing others getting joy and the same out of it, that's all I've been asking, especially with this plant. Since I was 12, I told my family it was my medicine, and it is my medicine, and I'm glad people can finally accept it that way. You know what I mean? And it really makes me feel good. I'm probably rambling on, but all of this had to be said. I felt like I needed to get this all out. You know, like life ain't easy. You know, I mean, the whole crew's been through a lot in the last 3 years.
That's really opened my eyes in the last 2 years and 2.5 years or so, because it was like the first feeling each other out and finding each other part was fucking great. But as soon as we kind of became a crew, it's like people's lives started falling apart like fucking dominoes. And it was just okay, I'm not the only one, right? And it's just like I keep saying, it's just like every few months, it's like, okay, it's this person's turn to fucking lift them up. And as I have said more times on the show than I can fucking count, I don't doubt that I would have gotten through my shit. Like I'm not the suicidal type or anything like that. But when I think of how fucking hellacious it would have been, because there was a lot of fucking nights in staying in a hotel room on the road working, because that's where I was when the wife got caught cheating. Freaking got my neighbor sending me fucking pictures. Hey man, there's some dude's vehicle parked in your fucking driveway. What kind of shit, right? And you got to sit in a hotel room and choke on that kind of shit. And without you guys there, because there was a lot of like unbroadcasted Zoom meetings where we would just, a bunch of us would sit there, and those were even way better than the shit that we were doing on the podcast, because there was nothing was off limits there. You didn't have to watch nothing, hear what you're saying, and everyone was just so open honesty, and it was fucking great. But then, like I said, as soon as, and then one, it like my, that was like a better part of a 2-year fucking hell for me. But it was like within probably a month, maybe 2 months, then it was like the next person. It literally seems like about every 2 months, somebody's life fucking explodes on it, man. It's like, we got to band together, because this sucks. Life can be hard, but it is what you make of it at the same time, right? And when you,
and that's why I think our crew is so strong. I mean, like that, because it gives us all a place where we're able to vent and speak and be heard. Where usually we're used to always, all of us are used to holding it in and just deal with.
And he's gone. This will be a reoccurring theme throughout the night, you see, folks.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm getting a new laptop for the new apartment. So.
Fucking great, brother.
Yeah, so that won't be happening in another week or two.
Shit, we're gonna have to get you some like fucking computer lessons or something like that, so you don't know how to work it.
I might take some classes out at the college.
Hey, that'd be all right. There's been quite a few times in the last probably not quite 10 years where, actually no, because 10 years ago I was actually been accepted into our local college for a heavy duty mechanics course, and I was accepted, and I was trying to pay for it by myself, working another job, and that was about the time I met the ex. Was actually, it would have been April Fool's Day. Would have been that was a pretty sweet anniversary. Fucking but April 1st was when I met her, and then she got pregnant right away. So all that saved up money to go to school and do the heavy duty mechanics thing was like, all right, I guess we're having a kid. But you know what, man? When I think about it, yeah, like I don't regret it, because my life was set on the path that I am here now. And my life is pretty fucking good. There's a lot of room for improvement, but I got a pretty sweet fucking life for the most part. I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that care about me at home and here, right? I work with a pretty decent group of fucking guys, right? Nobody's fucking perfect, except for me, maybe. Improve. No, I'm especially not fucking perfect. I am so extremely flawed, right? And now when I look at my old lady, when I compare her to past relationships, right? And you think of like, I'm bipolar. I have bad reactions to shit that is just stupid, like and ridiculous. And I'll be the first to admit it, especially in the immediate aftermath, once I realize that, oh fuck, I done it again. And most of them, they'll be like, when you have a poor reaction or whatever, it's just like, oh, you're a fucking asshole, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. There's absolutely, and you're like, wow, like you try and explain that like it just before I even know what I'm doing, I'm reacting. It's like and then it's usually somebody just says, "Hey, oh Brad, whatever," right? And break that kind of tractor beam of fucking reaction that you're in, and you're out of it for or at least And but they're like Ashley is the only one in I'm 41 years old now that I've ever been with that is ever okay. So this is the shit that's setting you off. So how do we go about and it's up to I got to make improvements and change too. It's not up to everybody to adjust to my to me to make me happy, right? I've got to do adjusting too. But that's where you meet in the middle, right? That's where relationships and all that shit is about. Where okay, let's stop fucking doing shit that we know is just gonna set you off before you even know it. But also maybe you should stop being a fucking dink. And so that's my part and I feel like I get better now that when you got someone that's because we talk about this stuff behind the scenes, Ashley and I, right? And like I work on this stuff and it gets to the point where now I'm getting better at recognizing that shit, like I still have that it goes, but I can also recognize situations where just get the fuck out of there because if that goes like it could, you just know. So just don't go that way, right?
I got something for you to try. I've been doing it for about the last year because I'm the same. React. I'm a reactor, and when it's that quick tempered reactor, I'm trying to say something that's gonna hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit. But instead of that, what I've been doing for this whole last year is I always sit, no matter I'll have it on the tip of my tongue, and you can hear me start to lash, and I'll be like, I'll bite my tongue. I'll literally bite my tongue, and I'll sit there and I'll take a few seconds, 30 seconds or so, just and they're like, "Oh, you ain't got nothing to say." No, I'm just picking and choosing my battle. I'm thinking before I'm acting before I react.
That's funny. That's actually, it's funny you mention that because that's something that I've started doing a little bit myself. And I've had that same reaction from a few different people where they're looking at you and calling you down like you're fucking stupid because you got nothing in response. And you're like, no, I've got fucking venom to spit. But that's the problem. I'm going to go for the fucking throat.
Yep.
Because when it comes time to fucking, I don't mince words, and it's like I'm an asshole when I want to be, and but that's not something to brag about either, And it's there when you realize that like say you're fighting with the old lady or whatever, and you're like, hey, I could say this and just like raw wipe her out, Why? You might win that small victory right now, but you just fucked her up, and now you can hurt her feelings, and you can apply that to your work life, to
everything. The whole universe is like that. And once you figure that out, that don't react to act, it goes a lot farther. Because just like you were saying, like let's say if it's the old lady, we're fighting. You know what you could say that it's gonna destroy her. Then she's gonna be depressed and upset, and then when you wake up the next morning or 2 hours later, you're like, man, I'm a fucking piece of shit, dickhead. And then when you try to say, well, hey, I didn't mean it, it's too late because then you just relighting that Kindle, you know what I mean, to that flame. So
yeah, that's it's funny because I'm very I think that's one of the better lessons that I've learned, and I don't even know if it was a conscious learning necessarily. We could maybe chalk that up to what I was talking about, where how Ashley tries to work with me to, okay, well, let's stop provoking fucking shitty reactions because it's not good for anybody. No. And you start learning that, and I just shut up. And because one thing I remember, I used to have a boss. They used to say when it was the company I used to fight fires for wildfires. That you make pretty good money for that, and a lot of people you get doing that, you're like straight out of high school, so they've never had a good paying job before, right? It's like maybe flipping burgers at McDonald's kind of thing, because that's about where their age level and experience level is. Then all of a sudden you go to a job where you're making hundreds of dollars a day, and you're living the fucking high roller life as far as right? And you go out of town and you start fucking bragging and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, and talking about how there's other backstories that I just realized I could have really got tangented on that. But anyways, what the boss is always saying when you go out there and when all you do is talk and talk, show how much you know, you're really just showing how much you don't know. And you can apply that in a lot. Like, you know, it's okay. You don't have that's applied to like bragging and just speaking out of turn and shit like that too. But you can like also just it's not. Sometimes it is just it's like we say it's just better to shut your mouth.
Yeah. Well,
right?
See,
go to the streets, shut your mouth.
Yeah. One of the philosophies I applied to my life and work and my grow and everything is let your work, whatever it is, let your work speak for itself. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to just let it speak for itself. You know what I mean? And it does most of the time, you know.
Yeah, no, that's actually when I like the way you say that because I've often said that every job site we go to is like our business card that you're handing out there. If you want to like we want to stay employed or you want to keep working, doing good and stuff like that. And once again, you're not going to make everyone happy, but that's it's the surefire way. It is make it look good, keep people happy as best you can. It's
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's like on my IG page. You notice I've been doing before pictures and after pictures. Pretty soon that siding job, another day or maybe 2 days, and it's going to be done completely, the house and the garage. And it was just me, a 2-man band, you know, and we only work 6 hours. We work 4 hours in the morning, go have a 2-hour lunch, and then go back and work an hour and a half, and I'm enjoying life. You know, we're having fun. I enjoy my job. I enjoy waking up and knowing my boss. All right, he's going to be here at 7. All right, I'll be out there at 6:50. If he ain't here by 7:01, I'm calling him. Where you at? You're like, you know, I've never really, even when I was running moving companies, I was always early, but I never had the joy. The joy. It sounds fucked up, but I enjoy going to work because, for one, it's not work. My boss is probably like my best friend. We fuck around and get stoned all day and get shit done quick, and we make money, good money. You know, and he's been looking for somebody where he could get this mentality in our head because a lot of guys, used to the hourly wage. No, man, let's knock it out, move on to the next job, and you know. Yeah. If we're done by noon every day instead of working 6 a.m. till 6 at night, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Dude, I'm just the man for that kind of work right there. Like if you give me here's the start line, there's the finish line. You can go home as soon as it's done. Like you're gonna see some shit get done real fast, and you're gonna see it get done well too. Because that's the other thing. I don't want to have to go back and redo it. Because that means I have to do it twice, and I ain't into that. I want to do it once, only once, and never have to think about it again.
No. Hey, that's funny you said that because last year, with how my hands were, I couldn't do the siding, and I was learning too. And my brother was there helping in that, but I seen them guys take, you know, they'd go 6, 7 high, and then they'd have to tear it all off because they missed something. This whole job that me and my boss have been doing by ourselves, I mentioned it to him today. I passed him the joint and I said, hey, man, you know what I'm thinking? He goes, what? I said, you know what? We haven't had to take a piece down yet and backtrack or do no work. But he's always wanting to make sure. And I'm that same way. So if I think he's going to forget to do something, hey, man, don't forget that nail over there. Oh, all right. I was on it, but thanks for reminding. It's about playing as a team and working as a team. You know, it's that simple. That's simple.
I'd actually just like to respond to you, Muff, here. Have you ever had to cut a tree down twice? Yeah, you can say yes in some ways because a lot of deciduous trees, you can cut that down and you'll start growing fucking suckers and stuff right out of that stump and go back again in a few years and just forget a lot of this stuff. So you could consider that cutting the same tree twice because it literally is, it's just different shoots and stuff of it reliving. And a lot of the sites we end up slashing in the ditches and stuff, you could see that there's growing out of old fucking little pokey stumps about the size of your thumb or some shit like that.
This is pretty tasty, man. I might have to find that strand.
Yeah, we had a half pound of Cushmans show up at our place there.
Ooh.
I'm interested in trying that out. By a good grower there that he's a friend of our show, Milo Grow. Fucking shout out to him. So if I could have, I was talking, I think it was Friday night, maybe Tuesday, probably last Tuesday, about how the lady I go to when I don't have enough of my own weed to get it through or whatever, she's out indefinitely. I'm not sure what happened, but they basically said her partner had a meltdown. So I'm just assuming that was like he went through, cut everything, and you're starting from fresh. Hopefully that's the fucking worst of it, and that they're not actually done. But anyways, that puts me in a predicament where I don't know anyone locally where I would actually. The one place I can go to is like $150 an ounce, and at the rate that I smoke weed, I could not afford that. It's not a viable option. I would just figure out how to live life without it, I guess, or find somewhere else. But like running around asking and searching and stuff like that, and finally after I hit town here in Penticton, I'm staying right now. Figuring if he sends what gets a hold of me back and say, "Oh yeah, no, I got this. Figuring we can help you out." I was like, "Fucking right, yes. Need that. Thank you, brother." That showed up at my place today, and I believe he's on Vancouver Island somewhere. So he's got like an ocean between me and him.
Right.
And I placed an order for some chatter from the place I usually go to, the online place out of Vancouver, which is like about 5 hour drive from here.
Right.
So I mean, like that's not home. That's not at my place yet. That's fine. And I ordered that like the day before. So it's just fucking mail system's hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, I've been smoking a lot of them Diamond XLs lately. I pay a little bit more for them diamonds, but man, they are so fucking smooth.
See, I like diamonds when they're like, I like throwing those on top of like some rosin or something like that, or if I can put those in a joint to really gangster up a joint. There was Penticton pig farmers. I don't know about that. They have like mostly wine farmers out here. It's fucking crazy. You can see forget everywhere you go. It's just like fucking people doing like their own little fucking homemade wineries or whatever with fucking rows of fucking grape plants.
Oh yeah. I used to see a lot of them out in California when I was out there moving furniture. Man, it went from 35 degrees 2 weeks ago to 85 degrees today. No in between. I just like a little. But I ain't gonna bitch.
Yeah,
I'd rather be at hot and warm, even though I think day neutral. I don't know how good them two little autoflowers are doing. One of them looked actually dead to me when I looked this morning. I was scared to go out there and look tonight. I'm hoping the nice sunny day did something, and I'll go out and take a peek tomorrow.
Yeah, up where I'm at, it's fucking still like it's. I'm trying to convert, do math, totally talking American speak for temperature wise, but I'd say like maybe 15 degrees out today, which is to me that's like that. That's all good working weather. Like it's hot and you're sweating and stuff like that, but it's not like just ridiculous, like where you feel like you're gonna die. Because when it gets to be like summer weather, like from about 11 a.m. on, I feel like I'm like I call it the survival time, where you're just trying to survive through the fucking day. Like, oh my god, 3 more hours, fuck's sakes.
You're drenching sweat. You really want to drink, but you don't want to drink because you know you're gonna drink it like a camel, and then you're gonna either puke that fucking liquid back up or get cramps or
Yeah, well, then you'll be like freaking, you've already put a gallon of water in you that day, and I'm one of those people where too much water, I just feel sick after a while. So, and then you come home and you're dehydrated, and you've even had some Gatorade or whatever to get some electrolytes in you, and you're good and dehydrated, but you're just so sick of fucking drinking fluids.
Yeah, if it once we hit a week where it's 75 plus for a week straight, I'll only drink one pop in the morning. Otherwise, if I drink pops like I do now when it's nice and cool, I start to cramp up and just, oh no, it ain't no good.
Yeah. Yeah, I find when it starts to get into summer weather, I need to at least have a Gatorade or a juice or something like that in there to kind of just break that constant water to at least get some flavor in there.
Yeah, I try to drink a little one of them little 12-ounce bottles. I think it does of that apple juice a day in the summer. I'm not one of them Gatorade fans because I when I was moving furniture, I'd drink Gatorade till it made me puke, and no, and then I'd be cramping too from it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I thought it was supposed to help you keep from cramping, but maybe if you're drinking too much of it.
Yeah, well, that's like one of the like anything though. You drink too much electrolytes and you throw that shit out of whack within your body, and can fuck you up. I'm like, yeah, I've tried doing that too, where it's like, okay, I'm working hard today. It's hot out. Athletes drink Gatorade, so I should probably drink nothing but Gatorade all day long. And it just like, it's sugar. I can only have so much sugar before I'm just like, ugh. Like it just makes me feel sluggish and gross. There's like it's funny because it's like my body at least gets to the point where it's like, okay, I'm done drinking water for the day. That's usually about by 9 a.m. on a hot day because you've already fucking drank so much by then. And then you get a Gatorade, maybe 2 in you, and then you're just, the body's like, ugh. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I'm really glad I discovered Booch, and why I drink so much of it, because that's something about the bitterness and the taste buds. I think it's kind of like it's close enough to beer without actually being beer, because it does have that halfway between vinegar and alcohol kind of taste to it. And something about that allows me to be able to drink that, because when it's hot out, I'll drink like a liter to a liter and a half of Booch a day. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
I'm here. I had a visitor stop for a second. I wanted to let him know I was doing the show.
It's all good.
But yeah, Gatorade no good. I like water, just H2O.
No, I can't. I drink. I feel like like when you eat too much of a food and then you're just like, oh, I don't ever want to eat that again. I feel like that's how I am with water, because I've just drank so much of it, and there's just like, ugh.
Where'd you golf today? What'd you get? Hey man. I'll yell at you later, brother. Nice. All right, I'm sorry, Caribou. He's making me jealous. He called me this morning, says, "Hey, I got off work early. Want to go golfing?" And I'm like, "When it's golf weather, it's work weather for me." I wish I could go.
Might get out a few times this year. I forget. I got a set of golf clubs that was like right beef, like it's just a used set off a buddy, but they're lefties, so they'll work. Fucking like right before the X and I broke up, and then I wasn't allowed to have them because most of our stuff that I got, like most of my main personal effects, everything I actually cared about, clothes and all that stuff, almost right away, and then kind of everything else was put into stasis while we were dealing with divorces and shit like that. But then that shit got settled, and I was allowed to have them. So I was like, "Fuck it, sweet." At that point, I was like, "Fuck, I'll probably never golf again," because I'm not avid at all. Like last time I was golfing was probably 10 years ago or something like that. But I work with two guys that are fucking out there golfing all the time. I'm like, fuck, I'll go golfing with you a few times a year. Why not?
Right, especially if you're out on the road, you know what I mean? And why sit in the hotel when you can go out, sit in that cart and chase that ball?
Yeah, or fuck if we're at home, that's the kind of thing you can bring the kid with you and just let her run around the golf course. Yeah, like I keep saying, we call her Hurricane Abigail for a reason. There's some extreme energy levels going on.
Yeah, I bought my boy, my 9-year-old. I bought him a set of clubs, and I took him out a couple times last year, and I'm gonna take him out to the driving range and all that good stuff. But it's good, clean fun for them kids. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm all for positive, productive stuff. Like getting back into that whole fucking keep them busy so they don't have time to get into doing drugs and other fucking bad shit. Because it's like that whole the idle hands, the devil's tool.
That's
When you
true.
look, when you it 100% is. It's like I look at a lot of the people I knew who we thought their parents were fucking horrible at the time because they were always doing like say like Cub Scouts and like softball and basketball, some sort of activity where there was never time to come and play with their friends, right? Because there's like their parents are limiting ass time basically. You're not sitting on the fucking couch doing nothing. Remember, this is well before there was tablets and cell phones and shit for them to look at. And then when I look at throughout like all the people, including myself, that went down the bad directions were the people that fucking had way too much time, especially in the teenagers. My parents were really good about keeping me into sports and stuff up until about grade 9, where my grades weren't up to snuff because I was pretty good at rugby for a little guy, fucking quick and fucking in and out. But my grades weren't up to snuff, so they fucking, sorry, no more fucking sports for you. And then when you think about like where my parents were and still living now, they're out in the middle of kind of like butt fuck nowhere. My nearest friend was like an hour and a half walk away, right?
Wow.
Like, yeah, my parents weren't driving you fucking nowhere. If they happen to be going that way at a certain time, that's the time, and you're there, fuck yeah, they'll drive. But that's about the way that worked. So it was like a lot of idle hands, fucking doing like bad fucking shit, and then yeah, totally see how that stuff can happen.
Oh yeah, hey, and I was a wild little kid. My house when I grew up, my mom was a single mom till she met my stepdad, which a lot of the Booth crew met when I was 12. So my mom, we got away with she worked 2 shifts, raising 3 kids, and so we got lax. All of our friends liked to come over because they could get away with shit. So automatically when we got into high school, I was made out to be the bad one because motherfuckers were getting arrested, and they went and told their parents they were at my house. And when their parents would tell me, hey, you can't come over no more, they got arrested, they were at your house, I'd say, why didn't I get arrested? Don't make me the bad guy. But it is what it is. And a lot of the parents now, they knew I was a good kid, but I was just had to hustle. I had to make sure my sisters and my mama were taken care of, and had to grow up quick.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of friends that weren't allowed to hang around with me anymore after certain incidents. Was always in that shit disturber crowd. But I had an older brother who was 5-6 years older than I am, and he was fucking hellion before I was. And I grew up with that, my brother's the coolest fucking person in the world. And like one of his best friends had a little brother that was my age and is one of my I don't talk to him anymore, but at that time we were fucking thick as thieves, want to be just like our brothers. So if our brothers were stealing shit, we were stealing shit.
Right.
So if their brothers were throwing rocks through people's windows, well, fuck, guess what? Without thinking of consequences, who you're hurting or whose lives you're disrupting. You're just trying to be cool like your brother. You want to be a badass, like.
I want to go back and touch on just like what you said, because I've been drilling this into my 9-year-old's head. I said, think about what you do, because it don't only affect you. You got to think how it affects anybody else around, And I that's another one of the positive things I've been trying to, think, what you're doing, your part in all of it, and think before you do. Think before you act.
Yeah. Absolutely. One of the things I'm trying to teach my daughter right now is because she's easily frustrated, and I think that's actually a part of it is from me, but because I get frustrated at times too. But it's like explain to her that you're not always going to be good at something the first time you do it. And this is just a fact of life. And in fact, more often than not, you're probably going to fail the first couple times you do something. Don't let that get you down. And the example that I'm thinking of in my head right now is about 2 weeks ago. She went through her drawer, her clothes drawer, her dresser, whatever. I picked out all the stuff that was too small for her. She didn't want anymore. But she thought, oh, I could like make doll clothes out of this stuff. Because I think Ashley realized that's where all the dishcloths were. They were turned into blankets for her dolls and stuff like that. So she's trying to sew a dress for her doll, and she's never sewed anything before, so she didn't get it the first time around. You can see just that, that completely, I don't want to do it. I don't know how. It doesn't work sort of attitude. It's like, no, it's okay. And then I did the first one for her. See, this is how I would do it. Doesn't mean you're right or I'm right because Dad's not. I sew with like freaking fishing line and a needle anytime I got to be sewing stuff, right? I want to get some good 30-pound test in there or whatever. But I show her how to do. I think it was the shirt that would kind of wrap around her Barbie or whatever it was for the cast, and then let her do the freaking pants or dress that went all the way down to my ankles, and she freaking picked it up like right away. And then the look on her face, because she had that aha moment, I can do it. And it was huge, awesome, and their hugs, and we do hugs awesome with Huggies in my house, right? I freaking hug that kid about 30, 40 times a day, and that's on a low count day.
Right.
And because I try, that's all about that positive reinforcement, trying to get that in. My parents were not negative people necessarily, but I don't necessarily think there was a lot of positive reinforcement and necessarily working with me to help figure stuff out. And so I like, okay,
which leads to the frustration.
Yeah, and I want to try and be counter to that because, like, some of you guys have heard about my stories, my frustrations, and my battles with my ex, and she's not all bad by any means, but I believe my daughter's life is not necessarily that fucking. There's no learning. There's no or anything over there. It's just surviving. Yeah, like how are you gonna like learn to get through life when we just sit on the couch and don't do much? And so I want to be there with you and it's like how do we pack as much experience into your young life as possible?
Yeah,
like positive experiences, right? And it's
hey. I'm a firm believer. You know, if you ask me what's wrong with a lot of this younger generation is they grew up on video games. You know, when I was a kid, man, I was out in the morning. I was taking the slop out at 5 a.m. to the pig pen, getting the chicken eggs to take them in and get them washed up because I knew as soon as I got them washed up, Grandma was cooking up some taters, ham, just that big old country breakfast. And then after that, we'd go play in the cornfield for when it was dark time. We'd come in, wash up right before dark, eat dinner. If we were thirsty, we drank out of the creek. It just.
Well, I remember those days.
Kids don't do that nowadays. But my boy, he loves being outdoors. So any chance I get, I got him outside, and I'm glad he doesn't have an interest really. He's got a PS4, but he never wants to play it. I'm glad, because I never really played video games. Don't get me wrong. If they were used right, instead of, my two older ones, they'd be home by 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 9 o'clock, they're still playing. I'm like, how the hell can you play a video game that long? Yeah, you don't have no homework? Nope. All right. As long as you ain't got no homework.
Yep.
But see, a lot of parents use that as a tool. The kid's entertained, so now.
And he's gone. But yeah, no, you're correct, man. Because I see that, and once again, that's kind of I saw that in the past life in the last relationship I was in too, where that's what kids would do is they're sitting there on their tablets or whatever because that is just the easiest solution to do that. And what I fucking love is, my kid I don't even know if she plugged her tablet in or turned her tablet on the last time she was at my house for the weekend. So last weekend, she's busy doing stuff. She would much rather be, which is I love it. Like, and trying to teach her that like life is more about experiences. Like, I've never actually had this talk with her, but I want to, like, you can, it's nice to have a lot of nice things, sure, but you can't take those to the grave with you.
No.
You know?
Hey, richness is not materialistic. It's the love you get, the love you feel, and the love you put out. You know what I mean? That's true richness to me. You know, well, you know, a little more on my story. I've been in and out of prison. I've been to prison about 7 times. I've sat 11 years total on prison time. So each time I went in, I went in, I lost everything I had. I'd come out with just my $50 gate fee money and a hustle. You know, and bam, bam, bam. Within 3 months, 6 months, a year later, I'm back to where I was when I went in. And it's all about not giving up. And with that kind of mentality, you know, I mean, me and my wife, we've been talking a lot, you know, a lot. And I told her, I said, you know what, you can have the house, you can have the van, you can have everything. I said, all I want is my clothes and my grow lights. I said, I'll be good. At least I know the kids. If we can't make this work, at least I know my kids will have a roof over their head. And that's all I care about. I'll be good. You know I will, and that's what drives me. Knowing. You know, I just sometimes I sit here and I feel by being so an invert and you know not really being a people person. You know, I disappear all the time. Yeah, and you know that.
I know.
You know, and that's because it gets so overwhelming. But I got so much to offer people just by being able to talk to them. Just let them hear and hear from them what's on their mind. What's bothering you? What can you do? You know, and it feels good. It feels good. You know, I mean, most my boss told me 3 years ago when I started, I was miserable. And I was going through all them surgeries. You guys know I was miserable. And he goes, dude, you're one of the most positive motherfuckers there is now. And I said, life's too short, man. I just want to be happy. Happy. Whatever it takes, I want to be happy. And each day, little by little, baby steps, I see it. I see the happiness I've been looking for, you know. I mean, right now, the 2 main events that I'm looking for this summer is that Goat Genetics Cup that me and 311 are in, and that's in July. And then right after that is the Boot Fest in August. So, you know, them 2 events are what I've been putting in for the last 3 years. You know, and it feels good. It really does. You know, to set goals, you know, because when I first started growing and 311 became my mentor, I made some goals and
he's gone.
I reached a lot of them, you know, within 2 years. So I started setting new ones and then more. And it feels good to finally, I used to never set goals because before I didn't know, I could be sitting here talking to you, and then a half an hour later, I might be on my way back to prison. Who knows? You know, that's how my lifestyle was.
Yep.
So just to see the personal growth and how just being positive helps others around me is just a blessing in itself.
Fucking great. I'm gonna grab some booch. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Dad frog. Rip it.
Oh. I totally could have done that too. Because that's usually my excuse to go and fill the coffee, like refill coffee on like the morning show and shit. Is this I'll throw a dab frog on or something. And I can run. Act like I'm all slick and shit.
Right.
What's this?
This is nice and peaceful right now, man. It's about 65 degrees, nice breezy evening on the front porch. I got to get me some country property. I really do.
I was just actually just thinking that today. Where I'm at now is it's in like a kind of a pretty desertish valley alongside a great big fucking lake. So this is like tourist country. It's fucking hot here. They don't get much. The Canadian winters that you hear of, they don't really get them here. They get a little bit of snow every year, but the Porsche dealership on Main Street, Kelowna, you can't drive Porsches in the winter that we get, say, at where I live. But when you get just outside of town here, you don't have to go very far where we're working today, up into the hills. And like, there's some nice fucking patches of land up there. Pretty nice flat, surrounded by fucking hills and mountains and shit like that. I was thinking, I could totally fucking live here. When I get into areas like where I am now in the city area, like it's not where I want to be. Like last night, I had a homeless guy camped outside my hotel window.
No,
Like that was fun. I was sitting here watching.
I'd rather have some other hiker out in the middle of nowhere camping out, 100, 200 feet away than the homeless. Nothing against. I mean, I give to the homeless, I help them, but a lot of that is you could get yourself out of that. You could get yourself out of that. You know what I mean?
I've been there. I had not for a long stretch, but I remember having to use court papers to start a fire in when it was like February 1999. Living behind the Hart Highway scales, freaking it's like minus 30. Freaking all my fucking clothes on, using court papers to start a fire to keep myself warm in the bush.
Oh yeah, I can remember this moving company here in town and that I worked for 30 some years. I can remember sleeping in the trailers, 30 below outside, and I got 10 moving pads on top of me, and just sleeping like that. It just the shit I used to do. What do I regret it? Absolutely not, because it's made me who I am, and it's made me a better person in the long run.
I definitely wish I would made different choices in life, but at the same time, I like where I'm at now. There's definitely room for improvement, but like when like I gotta say, for day to day, I'm pretty fucking happy. Like I got an old lady that absolutely cares about me, and I don't ever question that. It's just I fucking know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it's the stupid things. Like I work hard swinging a saw around, and I've got like medical conditions, bad hips and shit on top of that. I come home at the end of the day, and a lot of times I can't even fucking stand up straight. I was like all hunched over and stupid stuff. Like she'll sit there, like use like our cannabis cream that we make, and like rub my arms down, and like which by the time she gets to like the tops of my forearms, I can feel the blood flow getting to my hands and my thigh, and then oh my God, I can move my fingers because freaking 15 minutes ago, I was kind of like the fucking claw. Freaking your hands are all fucking can't even barely function and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you're working again. It's like, wow, nobody's ever done this for me before.
Right.
Picking thorns out of my fucking hands because I can't fucking pop them out. Freaking, like it's the small things in life.
Right. Hey, she's a keeper. She's a keeper.
I think so. Like life is fucking great. And like now, our thing is like concerts, dude. Like freaking, we've been ripping some good ones. We're gonna see Megadeth 2 nights in a row here coming up. What sucks, I got the email yesterday. George Thorogood was gonna be the third night. It was gonna be like Megadeth Friday, Megadeth Saturday, George Thorogood on Sunday. George Thorogood canceled. I guess he's sick. We're like, fuck, that sucks. So I hope he's good though, because like it's his 50th year of making music tour, right? So that means he's got to be at least 70. Unfortunately, he's at that age where we're starting to see a lot of our fucking favorite rock stars starting to drop off.
Yeah,
so hope he's all well. Yeah, that would be.
Well, I'll tell you what, you Canadian guys up there, because we didn't have any shows down here for 2 years because of the COVID, but after seeing everybody posting them shows and then Fluff posting that show he went to, I'm finding me a kick-ass metal show this summer, and I'm going.
You know who I want to go see really bad right now? Just announced it yesterday. I think it was Dream Theater with Devin Townsend and Animals as leaders.
Hey, Dream Theaters. I've seen that. I've seen them a couple times, man. They're just their lights, their light show. They're awesome, man.
Yeah, for me, the big one on that is Devin Townsend. If anyone doesn't know who he is, forget not. He used to play for Steve Vai on the I can't remember the name of the album. I'm not killing myself trying to think of that one. But Strapping Young Lad was his heavy music that he did, and then that just kind of drove him nuts because he has mental illness problems as well. And then you kind of, when you hear him talk about why he doesn't do Strapping Young Lad anymore, you say like it was just too much for but his solo stuff is like just some of the most it's prog metal, and it's fucking amazing. That's to me, that's like one of my. I was listening to him in the Dirt Whore radio station. It was the first time, when you haven't thrown something on in fucking a year or so, and you're just like, all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, this is fucking great. But then I had other people jumping in there and getting into it too. And I'm just like sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'm finding more Devin Townsend videos and getting into that. And it's like, fuck, I hope he goes on tour soon. If he does, I got to get there to see it. And then I said yesterday, fucking through with IG, and it's like, oh shit.
That's like, the other day, I seen a interview with Ozzy Osbourne, and he just looked over at Sharon and said, dude, it melted my heart. He goes, I wouldn't be alive without this woman. You know what I mean? And the whole world knows it's true. But I heard he's going on tour again. He's getting up there. You know what I mean?
I thought he's done with tour and just doing shows.
I heard he's going on one last tour. That's what I heard. I don't quote me, but that's if it's a tour just shows. I'd love to catch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's something, I think, is it called the Power Trip Festival? I think it's in California.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. It's like, I think it's only like 6 bands over 3 nights, but it's like, what is it, like Tool and Metallica the first night, I think.
That'd be nice.
Fuck, I'm completely, who else? I know Ozzy's one of them. AC/DC's one of them, I'm pretty sure. And I'm fucking drawing complete blanks, but they're fucking big to, if those are
them are probably pricey tickets, but it'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're another show that I'm gonna get drugged to here probably, which is, it's okay because I've drugged them to a lot of really cool shows, so it's only fair. But TLC and Shaggy, they're coming to actually the town that I'm in right now, Penticton, in July. I'm like, okay, we can make that happen. And then it's like, I think that's on a Friday or Saturday. And then it's the following Friday is the Dream Theater Devin Townsend show. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's going to be hard to make. But I'm like, I'll sleep in the fucking car. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. It'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to cut you short or anything, but it's 8 and I've had a long, hard day. I'm beat. I need to get me some shut eye, but I'm glad you let me get on with you, and I'm glad I got to speak how I wanted to speak and say what I wanted to say. And thank you, chat. Thank you all you supporters. Thank you guys are family. Growers love, mad respect, and I mean everything from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll try and maybe do this again sometime. I don't know, Johnny. I'm on the road next week. Want to do another one of these?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night. Friday night shit show. Have a great night.
Have a good one.